and the check was for $500,000. I couldn't believe it. I know I should have because I had just asked God for it. I went back into the meeting with my eyes filled with tears, and everyone was anxious. They wanted me to tell them who had died. They thought had been called out because somebody in the church had died. I said, no one has died. Let me tell you what has happened. We've been sitting here in this room in the midst of a storm, and we've been crying out to God for his help, and he heard us, and he reached out to us in our trouble and brought us into a place of peace. To say that we began to praise God would be an understatement. I'm glad you couldn't see what we did. When you come out of a storm in which all seems lost and God does something magnificent, the worship is unforgettable. That's known as a happy ending. And I wonder if you still have doubts that your story will have one.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a while and I'm so glad to be back. I really hope you are doing fine, and I really appreciate all your time. Thanks for stopping by, and I won't take any of them for granted. So in this video I just thought of making a tutorial of some cool emotional chords or emotional stuffs you can play underneath the preacher or maybe a speaker, and this could be a good starting point, especially for beginners, okay, those who are new to playing this kind of stuffs. So I'll just be sharing with you ideas, and you can just use this idea as an ingredient for your own creativity, okay? So I kind of compiled this into 3 steps you can follow, so that at least you have a kind of roadmap that you can use to be able to achieve this, okay? So the first step is to pick an emotional chord progression, okay? That's the first step to take. So you need to pick, because the chord progression is kind of like the foundation of those cool background stuff you play underneath the preacher, okay? So you just pick an emotional chord progressions. We have many emotional chord progressions. So when I say emotional chord progressions, I mean chord progressions that are kind of slow, moody, or just peaceful, okay? Just a calm chord progression. So you pick an emotional chord progression. Examples of emotional chord progressions are, for example, let's say we have most often they are progressions that contain more of minor chords, okay? So remember, we have major chords. For example, this is F major, this is F minor, okay? So you should have knowledge about that already. So most of the progressions should actually contain at least one minor chord, most often, because minor chords are emotional, and it's kind of the ingredients that actually change the characteristic of that progression. So examples of emotional chord progressions, for example, we have 6 5 3 4, maybe something like this. Watch this. In the key of F, okay, in the key of F major. So this is the 6. You can see it's so emotional. 6 5. So this is just one emotional chord progression among many. We also have many other. We have 6 4 1 5. So, but actually the progression I was using at the beginning of the video is the 1 and 4, okay? So this is the 1, then 4. Back to 1. So after picking your chord progression, the next step is now to use what we call emotional chord voicings to make it much more beautiful, okay? So the individual chords in the progression, in this case, remember I chose the 1 and the 4, okay? So the chord voicing is just how the notes, the individual notes in the chord are arranged. So for example, this is the 1. Instead of just playing the 1, this basic form in F sharp, most times I use emotional chord voicings. And when I mean emotional chord voicings, examples of emotional chord voicings are we have the suspended chords, we have the 7th chords, we have minor chords, okay? You can call it chord voicings or qualities rather. So most times, instead of just playing major, this sound kind of happy. You can either convert the key signature of this chord to a minor. You can use maybe minor, okay, or suspended. This is also emotional compared to this. This is bright. But look at this. This is emotional. Suspended too, okay. If you want to know more about suspended chords, I'll leave the video in the description box. You can go and check it out. I thought about it and I gave examples of worship songs that use them. Okay, so but it's not just limited to only worships, but that's just where the video was centered on. Okay, so you can check that out later. So you can use suspended. We have seventh chords also. So for example, in the key of F, this is F major seventh. Okay, this is the seventh because this is the basic triad in F. Then we add the seventh degree to it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the triad plus the 7. Okay. You can see very emotional. Okay. So let's go to the 4. But instead of playing major, we play the 7th of the 4 also. You see this? This is the 7th. Okay. This is the triad. Then we have the 7th. This is the B flat major 7th, which is the 4th chord in F, the key of F. Okay, so using 7th chord, you see, so emotional. Then you can go back to the 1. 7th. Oh my God, this is so emotional. After picking emotional chord voicings, the next thing is now to add some kind of movement, some emotional movement, or we can call it rhythm, to the progression to bring it to life. So instead of just playing it in block form, which is actually still cool, what you can start doing, you can start adding movement. For example, something like this. See that? Very emotional. So let me just walk you through some kind of movements you can add. So let's start with the left hand. So most often on your left hand, instead of just playing, most times I play the chord voicing I play on my left hand is usually a power chord. Okay, so these are power chords. That is octave, fifth, and octave. So in the key of let's say C, this is the first chord in C, right? Remember, this is the scale. So this is the first chord in triad form. But if we should change this voice into power chord, this becomes, so this, remember, this is the roots, the third degree and the fifth. Okay, so if we should leave the fifth and bring this, replace it with the root notes again in the higher octave, that becomes a power chord. So this is like 1, 5, and 1 in the key of C. But instead of just playing power chord, I also add the next 2 degrees above the roots, which are this and this. Okay, so this become 1, 5, 1, 2, 3. So it's a very beautiful movement. Look at how it sounds. Instead of just playing it like this or the basic triad, you can do something like this. Okay, then the same thing with the 4th chord. You see that? Okay, it's very emotional. So this is where you can start from as a beginner, but this is just could be a starting point, but it can't, there are no limitations. Okay, you can even keep adding other degrees of the scale above, something like this. You see that? And it's so emotional already. Okay, so for the fingering, so you can see most times you use the pinky on the last notes, then index finger, I think, and your thumb. Okay, and you just do something like this. then you pivot, your kind of pivot, if I'm right with pronunciation, to this part, okay, with these two fingers. So all right, so I think I'll be stopping here. So I just hope you found value in the video. Remember, this is not a rule, it's just a guideline, something that can just help you out, especially if you're a beginner, of what you can just play. This is just a starting point, but the most important thing is it's all about creativity and expressing yourself on the piano, okay, to make it simpler. All right, I hope you found value, and we'll see you in our next video.